What's happening, everybody? It's been a while. I mean, I took February off to honor Black History Month, but I'm back, and I'm back with a special feature, a combination of stick to the scripts and how sway the haiku of the week, or I guess the haiku of the month. And so the haiku of the month comes from Genesis 16, actually, which is about Abraham and Sarah hearing the word of God about this child that will be born to them out of their loins, but that when they heard the word, they laughed and didn't believe it and thought that they would help God out by giving Hagar, Sarah's maidservant, to Abraham to then go in and do the deed because they figured, well, God know what he's saying, but he don't really know for real, because we owe. And so what happened is the son called Ishmael was birthed. And I don't know if y'all know, but it's dangerous to birth the Ishmael into the world when you hear the word of God, but respond to it in your own might, in your own knowledge, and in your own understanding instead of leaning completely on faith in what God is saying he's going to do through and to you. And so here's the haiku. Call me Ishmael, birth of a nation. Birthing Ishmael's tips the scales of God's favor towards big whale tail capers. Now, what am I talking about? This is why we needed to talk about it a little more and give it a little more breadth, because I'm playing on a couple different things. Now, Call Me Ishmael, the title, is an allusion to Moby Dick. That was the first words of Moby Dick, Ishmael being the captain who dedicated his life to getting this whale, killing this whale, and ended up costing him the majority of his life. And so that's the thing. Whatever we birth into the world becomes this whale that we have to chase oftentimes when it's outside of God's will, and it doesn't necessarily go away. We have to eat the fruit that we end up sowing. That is called reaping and sowing. And so those things begin to be these whale tales, these large stories sometimes that we have to then explain as we go about telling people our testimonies. Even though God is blessing us, there's still a contention in the land. And so if you know the story of Ishmael, he would go on to birth 12 nations that would be contentious against Abraham and the Israelites, one being that they eventually became the forerunners to the Arabians, who caused a lot of turmoil over the generations, and more immediately to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They would be the Ishmaelites who then Jacob's brothers sold him to, or rather, Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery to Egypt. And so be careful what you put your hands on once God has put his words into it, because it may birth a nation that you'll have to contend with for generations to come.